Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hope you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs Weedman and I are about to get normal with some Chicago Runts by Cronja, a new craft grow here in Chicago and in Illinois. And this is a cross between Red Pop and Runts. And this was given to me by a friend of ours, Carlos. We've had him on the show 2 years ago, I think it was, for our 420 episode we did at Made Gallery. And he is the owner of Up Elevated Cocktails, Runner's High, and then also works for Cronja. And Chicago Runts is a great choice for most consumers as it combines the best of both of its parent strains in the flavor department. There's a sour yet sweet raspberry candy overtone accented by sugary fruits and a banquet of fresh berries, or a bouquet of fresh berries. The aroma is just a syrupy sweet with raspberry berry overtone accented by hints of tangy fruits and a touch of spice. The Chicago Runts High isn't quite as vibrant with effects that are best suited for a lazy evening when you need just a little extra help to get you to go to sleep. You'll feel calm from start to finish with a warming euphoria that has your mood in the clouds and your body locked to the couch. Nice. The effects are calm and happy, along with 26% THC percentage. This is our first time smoking Cronja. I'd like to thank Cronja and our friend Carlos for throwing to the cause. And I think the owner of this brand is a hip-hop artist from Illinois, I believe. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but because I didn't get a chance to meet him. But Carlos, thank you so much for the weed. I appreciate it. Oh, very nice. And while we're smoking on this, Mrs. Weedman's going to tell you a little bit about 8decades.com.
Yeah, and I just pulled up Cronja real quick, and it is actually a Black and veteran-owned business that focuses on the shared culture around cannabis. So thank you, Cronja.
Thank you, Cronja, for throwing to the cause. And tell us a little about 8decades.com, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, 8 Decades is our cannabis lifestyle brand. 8 decades of cannabis prohibition is what we are talking about. And the whole idea behind the brand is to stomp the stigma by starting the conversation. So we created some elevated smoke pieces, like a nice rolling tray, a nice ashtray, a multi-tool for your flower so you're not touching it with your fingers. We've got hemp clothing, just some nice product that is lightly branded so that it can be out. Someone could ask you a question, and next thing you know, you're educating the next consumer. How about that?
Yes.
So check us out at 8 Decades. That's spelled out EIGHT, decades.com. There you will also find swag for the Weedman 420 Chronicles podcast, and you'll find some information about us and our products. So check us out.
I love it. And as we always say, as you support 8decades.com, you support the show, and we keep on doing episodes every week for you. So thank you all out there who supported us. Thank you to all of our dispensary partners, too, who supported us, and we appreciate you all out there. And, yeah. It is October 14th, and the next holiday coming up is what?
Croptober.
Well, before Croptober. Well, after
Halloween.
Halloween. Yes.
I'm slightly distracted because Yuki is in the studio, and there's plenty of places for Yuki to lay. We have provided her many places, and she has decided to take a seat on a really small chair next to our camera.
Yes, she's being
Yuki, go on your chair.
Absolutely her weather outside right now here in Chicago.
She's pouting.
It is 58 degrees, slight wind. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. And when I went to go bring her in the house,
she's mad.
She did not want to come in. I had literally had to push her from behind to get her to move. When she doesn't want to do something, she lets us know.
She becomes like a 300-pound dog with a 500-pound head. And she will use the head to direct you where she wants you to go.
She was being a brat.
Yeah.
She's mad that I brought her inside. She could have stayed out there probably till morning. She's an outdoor dog.
You know what? That makes me mad. That's what she's saying right now.
She's being a droopy right now,
huh? Yeah.
So, Halloween is coming up.
Yes, it is.
Right?
Yes.
What is something that scares you, like movie-wise, or something that scares you from Halloween. Like
The freaky stuff that scares me are scary movies that are possibilities. Like Kiss the Girls. That is absolutely
no, I'll give you the one that made you cry.
Yeah, which one?
Terrifier.
Terrifier.
With the clown with the white face with the black.
Fuck. It was just so why? Why does anything need to be that scary? It was just ridiculous.
It wasn't even scary. It was
It
horrifying.
was just horrifying.
It was fucking horrifying. Even for me, that was fucking horrifying.
No, I think just those movies like Kiss the Girls, where it's just like, I'm a doctor by day and I keep women in a cave and murder them by night, and you'd never know. That's fucking terrifying.
That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. Like Jason and like the novelty story,
Halloween.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like those are like thrillers.
Yes.
They're funny.
Yes.
But they're such a part of Halloween.
Yes, they are great. But there's the one thing that scares a lot of people.
What?
Scary dolls.
Oh yeah, magic.
Like
that
magic.
was like
That's like the first scary doll in our life. Magic.
My sister had to have that freaking doll, and I shared a bedroom with her, and it sat in a chair. That magic doll, that comedian, that man in the suit.
What about the clown doll in the Poltergeist?
Clown
sitting on the chair in the boys' room.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Fucking clown
and
was,
it disappeared sometimes.
Yeah,
it would just not be in the chair.
Yes, and the boy would throw a blanket over it to hide his face. That was scary.
That was scary.
Now, what about Annabelle from The Conjuring in the glass case? I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think
movie.
I know Annabelle.
Annabelle was freaky because the eyes. It was one of those dolls that the eyes blinked.
Oh.
You know, when you laid them down and when you rose them back up. So she'd be in the case and something was about to happen, her eyes would blink.
Ooh.
And you knew something happened. But I personally I personally think the scariest doll is fucking Chucky.
Oh, come on. He's scary. He's creepy.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scariest doll.
I don't know about the
Chucky.
scariest.
Just the creepiest, maybe.
Yeah. I think I've talked about this on the show before that my nephews, the boys had the boys had one, and at the time my sister
not a Chucky doll though. What was it called? My Buddy.
It was called My Buddy,
right.
But of course the hair got cut, the scar got drawn on his head, right? Like in this thing, we had a laundry chute. My parents' house was like, I grew up in an old house, and we had a laundry chute, which my sisters like to try to put me down or threaten to put me down. And there was a nail in there, so you'd always lose a sock or underwear, and it was always caught. It was in like between the first floor and the second floor, like halfway in between. There's a nail. Anyway,
I bet you there's still a pair there.
Chucky would go through that laundry chute a lot, and he'd get thrown in the garbage a lot, and he'd always come back.
Do you remember the song?
It was so creepy.
Remember the song, the My Buddy song?
My buddy. My buddy,
wherever I
my
go,
buddy
he goes, my buddy. Now that's a fucking creepy fucking song.
Yeah.
Chucky with the fucking like. All the episodes after the first one weren't scary. They're more funny, comedic thriller shit like that. But the first one was fucking terrifying if you were a little kid watching that, or a young kid watching that, and next thing you look over and there's a fucking My Buddy doll right over there. You go,
because that doll was a real doll in the stores.
Yeah,
that kids had.
I mean, 1988, that movie came out.
Yeah,
that's how long ago it's been.
Wow,
and it's had many like movies made after it, but the one that freaked you out was like I remember like the scene where Chucky was like all of a sudden you couldn't find him because he hid. Like, or he ran away. Okay. You know, and all of a sudden the mom went to go like try to find him and had a weapon in her hand, and all of a sudden he comes out of fucking nowhere and just starts screaming, "I'm gonna fucking murder you!" And just like in her face, she's just like, "What the fuck am I watching?" So this Halloween,
the voice.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh my god!
So this Halloween. You have to watch Magic, right? With that fucking the ventriloquist. Oh my god, that creepy. Start with that one, right?
Amityville Horror.
Yeah, but there wasn't a doll in there though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
we
dolls.
Were dolls. I forgot.
Then watch the original Poltergeist, right? The original one, and watch the clown. Gonna freak you the fuck out. Then watch Annabelle. I'm gonna mix it up on you. Then watch Annabelle. Just because it's the Conjuring. There's a bunch of Conjurings too, just like there's a bunch. And then watch Chucky.
Ooh.
Get stoned.
Chucky is the
finale.
The finale.
Yes, for doll movies. If you're gonna watch, but start with the classic Magic from the 70s. That's a great one to start with because I want to give you a little creepy. You'll be like looking over your shoulder, fucking. If your kid's got a doll somewhere too, you'd be like, what the hell's going on here? Especially if you're stoned as fuck and a little paranoia kicks in. You'd be like, oh. You know. So
that's all just moved.
Yeah, and then the Poltergeist, which is a classic movie in itself. All are welcome. This house is clean. Classic line.
I know.
And then watch Annabelle. I don't remember any lines from Annabelle. I only watched the first one. And then Chucky. I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch. Tell me how y'all think about that. All right? Shoot me a line. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, too, when you watch us on YouTube with me doing the knife and cursing. Subscribe to that button on YouTube for Mr. and Mrs. Weedman, please. But yes, any other movies that you recommend that scared the shit out of you? No, not Dolls. Just any other Halloween movie.
Oh.
We still got 2 more weeks before Halloween, so we'll talk more about movies. But give them one more. The Finisher.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't remember one that scared the shit out of you?
Poltergeist?
We just said that one.
Or, I'm sorry, The Exorcist.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Yes. So The Exorcist. We mentioned Carrie's another good one. Christine. Any Stephen King early movies.
Cujo.
Pet Sematary, Cujo. Great ones. But those are all good. They're scary, but they're not like they're more thriller, a little bit of horror. So it's the
New York
accent.
The little bit of Bronx that's left in you. Horror.
I always tell people always ask me, where do I get my accent from?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a New York accent, and I lived in Florida, so you got a southern drawl with a Chicago twang. That's my accent now.
Whoever gets a twang.
The South Side twang.
You get a D's, Dems,
That's
and don'ts.
the twang. You got a little twang in there. South Side twang.
I seen it one time. I seen it. It ain't right.
Hey, Cronja, thank you for the good weed.
That's funny.
Or Cronja, sorry.
Got some French fries.
It's getting out of control.
Let's go get some beef.
We got a good beef.
We got
from
a good
Jansen's
beef.
On fucking on.
That was a wet
They
beef.
make that well, but they make it with their cheese whiz spread on there on a soft bun.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's the beef and cheddar.
Yes, it's the beef. They don't
Much
call it
different.
beef and cheddar. They call it cheese whiz and
call
beef.
Because they want you to know that they use cheese whiz.
Yes, and cheese
it's a
whiz.
step above.
Yes, and their cheese
really
fries are the
good.
best. You can't prove me wrong. Jansen's cheese fry, and I've eaten cheese fries across the fucking country.
Yeah.
Jansen's cheese fries.
Never enough cheese. Though.
Never. That's why you gotta
enough.
get cheese on the side.
It like soaks in.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But see, okay, if you lived on the South Side as long as we have, you know Jansen's. Jansen's is an icon staple on Western Avenue and 99th Street. It's been there since the 60s or 50s, right? 50s. Mm-hmm. Classic hot dog hamburger stand, and they have their specialty items.
Had a fallout, had some years that it was just terrible.
But it's back.
It's back.
So, but they used to do
modern,
They used to do
different,
McDonald's style fries when I first ate
God.
there with
So
the
good.
cheese whiz.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now they have Portillo crinkly fries.
Yeah.
Not the same, still good, but I will put their fries up against any fry in this state, or probably in
They
the
really
country.
should have, just for their cheese fries, they should have the skinny fries.
Yes, 100%.
And they can do whatever they want with
I want to go to
fries.
McDonald's or Pops
And bring my
grab
fries
their
over
fries
there?
and go get their cheese. Can you put the cheese whiz on his fry? Or bring them frozen, like, hey, put these back. I want the old way here. You went cheap on me.
We should just go get like a vat of their cheese sauce and then go to Pops and get some good
Well, you can
fries.
just get cheese whiz. It's the same thing. Because every other cheese that I've ever tried. Now, I'm not talking about like a fancy restaurant that puts like freshly ground cheese on there. I'm talking about hot dog stands, Southside stands like that, burger stands and shit like that.
Squeeze cheese.
Right. They used to buy the canned cheese at Costco to do the
concession stand.
stand. That stuff was gross.
Oh yeah, terrible.
Gross. It's canned.
People
it comes
love it,
gelatinous.
though. They fucking
Gross.
love it.
Fucking gross.
But
It's
people
not
fucking
even,
love it.
It's fucking oil,
Yeah.
not even cheese. Not even
And the
there's not
chips
even
that
milk in
say
there.
human grade corn. That's it.
That's the
I was like,
concession
whoa.
stand for you.
Okay.
So
Moneymaker.
but
Moneymaker.
their cheese takes
Straight
it
up.
to a different level.
Oh my god.
Hands down. I'm
It's
telling
literally
you,
cheese whiz.
tell him Mr. Weedman sent you when you're on. If you live in the South Side or you're coming to the South Side and you're on a Stony Baloney kind of day, stop at Jansen's, get the cheese whiz and beef, and get a cheese fry.
So good.
Call me in the morning and tell me what you think.
Ah.
You ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Two of Mrs. Weedman's favorite things: caffeine from coffee and cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which is better for energy? And can you mix weed with caffeine and have the best of both worlds? Ms. Weedman does every Saturday and Sunday outside while she's having a coffee and a joint. I know y'all have been wondering about cannabis versus caffeine. Which one gives you better energy? And yes, we're going to mix in a little banter, some science, some real talk on this shit. So sit back, take a puff, if that's your ritual, and pour yourself that coffee. And let's sit back and relax and vibe during the show. So the usual suspect, caffeine. First off, caffeine is the OG energy kick. It works by blocking adenosine receptors, those receptors that tell your brain, hey, time to slow down. Block them and fatigue backs off. You also get bumped levels of adrenaline and dopamine, which keep you alert for hours. Pros, it's cheap, accessible, predictable. Cons, if you drink too much, I've been there, jitters, anxiety, and the dreaded crash. Some folks are just too sensitive. They get shaky, weird, or lose their focus after the buzz phase. I don't get jitters from I can have 2-3 cups of coffee. I'm good. But when I was first time I ever had the jitters and paranoia on caffeine, I was in London when I went out there for work for a week, and we were out very late at night and had to be up at 8:00 in the morning to go to work. I worked for a beer company and I was out there opening up the market. So it was a 12, 13, 14-hour days. Every morning I'd wake up and go sit at the coffee counter at the hotel and get a triple espresso, black, sweet, and a club soda. And that was my morning. And this one morning, I think I was a little hungover, and I fucking got a triple and I drank it down. And I remember
bad stomach.
not even just bad stomach. I just remember how fucking my anxiety. I had the shakes and the jitters. And the guy who I was working the route with, I go, dude, I gotta eat. I'm gonna fucking die right now. He goes, all right. We were like in downtown London. I can't remember. We were in the square. I can't remember where we're at. And there's this coffee shop that sells sandwiches. Like, go get yourself a sandwich and eat. Bring it in the car. We'll go. And I walked in, and the fucking place was jam packed.
Oh shit!
And all of a sudden, it was like the walls started fucking closing in.
No!
And I was like starting to get the sweats, and I started shaking. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, I'm fucked up. And I go back outside of the guy. I'll never forget his name is Ben. And I go, Ben, dude, I'm freaking out, man. I think I drank too much coffee. Can you help me find this sandwich you told me to get? He's like, seriously, bro, I got to park the car for you right now.
Oh, no.
Hey, there's nowhere to park.
Right.
He goes, you sit in the car, I'll go in and get it. So he went and got me the fucking
sandwich. Oh, my God.
I was fucking...
He was probably so pissed.
Oh, he was mad. He was mad. I made it up to him, though. I got him a few draft lines, so I made it up.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, talk about it.
The wild card, cannabis, sativa vibes only, baby. Now, I know when you first hear weed for energy, you might raise an eyebrow, but with the right approach, it's a different kind of high octane. Strains matters, right? So depending on the domination of the strain, hybrids or hybrids are your go-to if you want to lift and spark creativity, motivation, mood boost. Mrs. Weedman loves those three, right? Like all three. Dose matters. Too much THC, you might crash into a couch mode. But all right, let me read that one more time. Mrs. Weedman is making me laugh. Dose matters. Too much THC, you might crash into the couch mode, which I don't mind, but not when I want to go do shit. Terpenes matter, though. Look for limonene, pinene, terpene, terps that lean toward lifting, not sedating. Consumption methods matter. Smoking or vaping hits fast. Edibles give you, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. But be patient. Start low and go slow. Cannabis works via the CB1 receptors and nudges dopamine and other neurotransmitters. The mental on feeling is what creates chase, that flow, that spark, that okay, I'm switched on feeling. But full honesty, not everyone gets energy from weed. Some get mellow, some even crash. We're all wired a little differently. Can you mix them? Spoiler. Yes, with caution though. Why choose? Many enthusiasts mix cannabis and caffeine because, get this, they act on different systems. Caffeine blocks adenosine. Cannabis activates the CB1 receptors. Together, the harmony happens. They can amplify one another if done right. But too much, it can be chaotic, anxiety, jittery, unbalanced. So here's some tips. Slow, start low on both sides. Use a rich, heavy sativa strain. high in those terpenes we mentioned earlier. Try coffee first, then weed. It gives mood plus creativity without the drag. Weed first, then coffee. Smoother ride. Cannabis relaxes. Caffeine prevents sedation. Timing dosage, your own brain chemistry, all playing some role in this. So let's talk a little bit about energy drinks, though. I used to drink energy drinks in my 20s and probably till I was like in my mid 40s. When I have drank coffee too, but I always have an energy drink in the day. And I haven't had an energy drink in 5 years. You just threw out a whole thing of Celsius that was from like 2 years ago that I never even touched. So it's been a while since I've had energy drinks. I try to stay away from them now. As you get older, heart, you got to be careful of your heart. You know, you got to be careful of like getting too fucking, you know, have a heart attack. Fucking stop that ticker. So try not to go there. I'm telling you, skip the energy drinks. They're like junk food version of energy. High caffeine concentration, heart palpitations, tremors, high blood pressure. They hide extra caffeine via yerba mate, guarana, and other stuff they add into there. And massive sugar. I know they do diet ones with no sugar, but then you're taking other shit. So you'll have a blood sugar crash, and basically you're going to have a crash. So, and you're going to want to drink more. So I know people that drink 2 or 3 monsters, of like 4 or 5 monsters a day. I'm like, what are you doing to yourself? You're going to get fucking rotten gut, you know? Long-term stresses on your cardiovascular system, risk of diabetes, adverse events. Real talk, though, caffeine is reasonably formed like coffee or tea. I love tea. Cannabis used smartly, way safer than purchasing energy drinks and drinking those all day. Bottom line, it's not about which is better. It's about what you need. If you want straight up mental alertness for study, work, long hours, caffeine might be your champ. If you want that uplifted mood, creative burst, social energy, cannabis might serve you better. Want the combo? Go gentle. Be your own scientist. Track doses, timing effects. Mrs. Weedman's tracking her cannabis use now, right?
A little bit.
So there it is, the energy debate. No one size fits all, just real options, real trade-offs, and a reminder, respect your body and respect the chemistry, everybody. Right, Mrs. Weedman?
Yes.
So intentionality starts with understanding. I thought this was a really good article. This person that wrote it, it's from Cannabis Tech Today. And I thought it was this opening was really, really nice. Go ahead, tell us about Mr. Weedman.
I never planned on a career in cannabis. For nearly a decade, I was a special education teacher. My passion has always been teaching and helping people. Then I became a mother, and everything shifted. My time, my energy, my health. Somewhere in all of that, I realized I had only ever done one thing since graduating college, and I needed to check in with myself. With the birth of my first child, I decided to cut out alcohol and mindfully reintroduce cannabis back into my life. What I found wasn't just relief, it was clarity, calm, and a deeper sense of well-being amid the hustle and bustle of mom life. Growing up in a cannabis-positive home, there was no stigma attached to its use. As I continued to thrive, I noticed that many women were curious about cannabis, but cautious. It occurred to me that there was a huge educational gap in cannabis, and women were untapped, that they were an untapped group that deserved more support. Today, as the Director of Engagement and Education at Silver Therapeutics, my role is both strategic and deeply personal. On a weekly basis, I touch many facets of the business. On the engagement side, I can be seen doing anything from contributing to and approving blog content and email newsletters to overseeing community events and social media marketing. On the education side, I help shape the training program for new hires and develop our in-store educational products. All of this is done with one goal in mind: to make cannabis education accessible. Whether someone is stepping into a dispensary for the first time as a customer or starting their journey as a new team member, it's my belief that education is the foundation of intentional and mindful cannabis use. My background in education informs everything I do. One thing I brought with me from the classroom is the simple truth: never assume someone knows what you're talking about. Cannabis can feel overwhelming. Terms like cannabinoids, terpenes, and decarboxylation can be confusing. The best educators meet people where they are instead of immediately trying to pull them up to their level. I think that's a wonderful tip. When we approach customers using high-level language, it can make them feel that they don't belong in their conversation, and that's how people get shut out. It's not about watering anything down. It's about having the compassion and patience to build from the ground up. Because most people aren't clueless. They're curious. They just need someone to walk them with them, not talk over them. Consumers can be intentional with cannabis. They can't be intentional with cannabis if they don't understand how to use it, whether it's figuring out the dosage, finding the method that works best, or just knowing what to expect. Education gives others confidence to make choices that actually support their goals. A bud tender is the perfect teacher to help someone discover that a dry herb vape might be easier on the lungs, or that a low-dose edible before a workout can help with focus. That kind of insight can shift someone's whole relationship with cannabis. It's not just about using it, it's about using it well. Women are one of the fastest growing groups of cannabis consumers, but we're still underserved. There's this lingering idea that cannabis is somehow more acceptable for men. The unfortunate truth is that women, especially moms, still face a lot of judgment. And when dispensaries or products feel disconnected from real women's lives, it only reinforces that feeling of not belonging. As I think back on my journey with cannabis, I remember how nervous I was the first time I went into a dispensary. I actually sent my husband in for me more than once before he finally encouraged me to go in for myself. It's why I'm so committed to making our stores feel welcoming, not intimidating, using clear signage, open conversation, education, and judgment-free bud tenders. I've seen firsthand how things start to change when women feel seen and supported. When I began to lean more into cannabis education, it was a ripple effect. Friends and family became more open about their own cannabis use suddenly, and it didn't feel so mysterious or taboo. I truly believe women are uniquely positioned to lead the wellness conversation around cannabis. We already know how to battle stigma, advocate for our own health, and hold space for others. A lot of us are caregivers, and I see cannabis as a way of receiving care too. When used intentionally, it doesn't numb you out of your life. It helps you be more present.
Ooh, such a good sentence.
And presence is what more and more women are seeking. Not escape, not intoxication, just balance. At Silver Therapeutics, everything they do is grounded in education. From the moment someone walks in, they have access to an adult use guide that breaks down products, effects, and legal limits. Bud tenders are trained to ask meaningful questions like, how do you want to feel? Our wellness-based approach extends across the board, from our blog and emails to our in-person community events, and people are responding. Some of our most engaged emails aren't sales-driven, they're educational. Out on the ground, our field marketing program is a huge source of pride. Our team members are out in the community with smiles on their faces at local events, festivals, and wellness markets, educating people who may not even use cannabis yet. Just by showing up with facts and compassion, they're helping to normalize the conversation. The more we normalize the conversation, the more others have access to cannabis as a source of wellness. To the curious but hesitant women out there, if you're curious but unsure, know this. There's no one way your relationship with cannabis has to look. You don't have to smoke it if you don't want to. Your journey is your own, and you don't have to fit into the box. You just have to be open to discovering what might work for you. Education gives you the power to make that discovery on your own terms, and consumers deserve to feel empowered. In the end, it's not about being an expert. It's about being intentional, and intention begins with education.
What a great article.
Yeah.
The author, Rayne. Ryan.
Yeah.
Mick Glamory Nygren is Director of Engagement and Education at Silver Therapeutics. Phenomenal article.
Rayne
That's what I thought.
McGlamory.
That's what I thought. I just didn't. I didn't want to fuck it up. I'm sorry. I butchered it. But just like Reginald Reefer, If you're ever in Chicagoland area, reach out to us. I'd like to hear more. Right, Mrs. Weedman?
Yes.
I'd like Mrs. Weedman to sit down and talk. That'd be a great one right there. I just get to sit back and get high and listen and learn. Just like I do with Big Earl. I get to sit back a lot and listen and learn, just get baked. Oof. Sometimes too much with some honey in my drink, Mr. Weedman. Oh, so what happened to the sticky icky aromatic cannabis buds from the mid 1990s? Now, here's my opinion on this. I got weed back in the 90s that was just straight up dirt because that's all it was around. And I got some weed that was fucking loud, fire, incredible, whatever you want to call it. It was that. But that weed sometimes was hard to get. You smoke what you got sometimes. And man, sometimes when you got just the dirt, you're just like, oh my God, I'd rather not smoke at all. You know? Or you'd call up a buddy going, you got any of that good? I got a couple nugs left. Can I buy one off you to last me until maybe another week? But it's true, but also I think this article is talking more about big commercial grow versus home grow / caregiver grow, the legends, legacy market. Right. I don't think they're talking about that. They're talking more about MSO grow and but also what they have to do to their weed and why it loses some of that smell. So that's my premise of this article, and not talking about everybody, just certain group. So the article dives into a question that haunted many a stoner's mind. What happened to the sticky, icky, aromatic cannabis buds of the mid-1990s? Let's resurrect that smell, that gloss, that resin, and see where it all went sideways. The question we all ask in haze. Back in the day, you'd pick up a nug, and it'd gleam, sticky, pungent, full of aroma. You felt it was just by holding it. So where did that disappear to? Expert growers and cultivators have some answers. And as always, there's science behind the legend. Terpenes, the scent and stick factor. Here's Ground Zero, a terpene story. A classic study by Ross and Isley compared fresh frozen cannabis oils versus traditional air-dried buds. Fresh frozen retain 92% monoterpenes, 7% sesquiterpenes, and 1% of volatile sulfur compounds. But air drying, you lose a heavy chunk of the monoterpene profile. That means less smell, less flavor, less sticky magic. In fact, as much as 55% of B-myrcene, a big terp for aroma and body, can vanish in just a week if drying and curing are sloppy. That loss is literal dollars evaporating both in aroma and street appeal. Over drying, the silent killer. So what's killing our sticky buds now? Over drying, pure and poor curing practices are the main culprits. In commercial grows, traditional HVAC systems and dehumidifiers often run too wide a swing. When temperatures or humidity fluctuates, trichome heads expand, contract, and terpenes vaporize out. Once those terps are gone, no amount of love will bring them back. Some growers even overdry on purpose, wanting to reduce the risk of mold or microbes at the cost of aroma and stick. But that's a trade-off. Safety versus sensory richness. The right drying and curing dance. This journalist says, let me walk you through the ritual. How we bring back as much of the ghost of mid-90s sticky glory as possible. Drying normally takes about 10 days. Hang full plants or branches in sealed rooms. Start at 45% room humidity, 65 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit for initial days. Then gradually shift RH to 55% while lowering temp to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Then raise RH to 58% for the final day. This journalist's take. At that point, stems should still bend without snapping. Outer leaves dry, but inside of the bud still holds moisture. Target water activity 0.62 to 0.63. Curing next. Aim for AW between 0.58 and 6.2. That's water activity. Give your cured buds a marshmallow rebound. Squeeze, they bounce back. Use airflow, temperature control, proper RH so enzymatic activity can break down chlorophyll sugars, etc. In the trim and packaging rooms, don't drop your guard. Maintain the same RH temperature you end up curing with. Don't let your hard-earned terps bake off in the warm, dry rooms. More than nostalgia. And why this matters. This is more than sniff and remember. Terpene loss means lower sensory pleasure, lower perceived quality, and lower market value. Growers are literally losing profit in grams and in appeal. Plus the experience shifts. Less pungent smells, flatter flavor, less stick. So here's some thoughts. Is sticky bud magic lost forever? No, not forever. But it's harder now. With mass commercial systems that prioritize yield, consistency, shelf stability. But the path back is in mastering your post-harvest, precision drying, precision curing, gentle handling. It's a craft again. So when you pick up some bud and feel it's dull, dry, scentless, know this. You're smelling the casualty of a bad climate control.
Volatile.
Thank you, terpenes. And rushed process. But you also know how it can come back. That sticky, icky, aromatic ghost, it's not a myth. It's just been muffled a little bit. And I think we can come back. Right, Mrs. Weedman?
Yeah.
And that was written by Shuey Sindel. We read a couple of his articles before on Cannabis Business Times. He's writes some really good articles. Medical marijuana effectively treats chronic pain and helps patients reduce prescription drugs, this new survey shows. Tell us about it, Miss Weedman. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Chronic pain.
More exciting news about chronic pain and cannabis. Medical marijuana patients with chronic pain overwhelmingly agree that cannabis is an effective long-term treatment option, with 1 in 3 saying it has helped them to eliminate the use of prescription drugs, according to a new poll. The survey from the medical marijuana certification company Green Health Docs, which involved interviews with 1,450 patients nationwide, asked a variety of questions about how cannabis impacts their chronic pain. 86% said that cannabis improved their pain at least moderately, with 56% saying they saw significant reductions in pain. 48% said they were using prescription pain medication before trying marijuana. After using cannabis, 35% stopped all prescription pain medications. 15% stopped using some, and 12% reduced their dosage and frequency. Fewer than 18% reported no change in prescription pain medication consumption following the initiation of medical cannabis use. Wow, that's big news.
Yeah, it is.
Many participants highlighted the lower risk of overdose compared to opioids, a more manageable side effect profile, and the flexibility of different product formats. The polling report from Green Health Docs says these factors explain why so many choose cannabis as a safer long-term strategy. 73% of patients in the survey said they rely on the use of marijuana to relieve pain on a daily basis, and most also said they believe cannabis to be a viable long-term solution for managing chronic pain, with just over 1% saying they disagree with that notion. Respondents frequently described secondary benefits such as better sleep, increased mobility, and reduced anxiety. Dr. Anand Dugar of Green Health Docs said, these improvements compound to make a meaningful difference in day-to-day life. This represents one of the latest pieces of evidence that marijuana can serve as an effective substitute for opioids in pain management treatment. Earlier this year, a different study in the journal Drug and Alcohol Review found that among drug users who experience chronic pain, daily cannabis use was linked to a higher likelihood of quitting the use of opioids, especially among men. A study published late last year also found that legalized medical cannabis appeared to significantly reduce monetary payments from opioid manufacturers to doctors who specialize in pain, with authors finding evidence that this decrease is due to the medical marijuana becoming available as a substitute for prescription painkillers. Other recent research also showed a decline in fatal opioid overdoses in jurisdictions where marijuana was legalized for adults. That study found a consistent negative relationship between legalization and fatal overdoses, with more significant effects in states that legalized cannabis earlier in the opioid crisis. Authors estimated that recreational marijuana legalization is associated with a decrease of approximately 3.5 deaths per 100,000 individuals. Our findings suggest that broadening recreational marijuana access could help address the opioid epidemic, that report said. Previous research largely indicates that marijuana, primarily for medical use, can reduce opioid prescriptions, and we find it may also successfully reduce overdose deaths. Another recently published report into prescription opioid use in Utah, following the state's legalization of medical marijuana, found that the availability of legal cannabis both reduced opioid use by patients with chronic pain and helped drive down prescription overdose deaths statewide. Overall, results of the study indicated that cannabis has a substantial role to play in pain management and the reduction of opioid use. Yet another study published in 2023 linked medical marijuana use to lower pain levels and reduced dependence on opioids and other prescription medications. And another published by the American Medical Association last February found that chronic pain patients who received medical marijuana for longer than a month saw significant reductions in prescribed opioids. About 1 in 3 chronic pain patients reported using cannabis as a treatment option, according to a 2023 American Medical Association published report. Most of that group said that they used cannabis as a substitute for other pain medications, including opioids. Other research published that year found that letting people buy CBD legally significantly reduced opioid prescription rates, leading to 6.6 to 8.1% fewer opioid prescriptions. That's a lot. A 2022 research paper that analyzed Medicaid data on prescription drugs, meanwhile, found that legalizing marijuana for adult use was associated with significant reductions in the use of prescription drugs for the treatment of multiple conditions. Other recent research also indicates that cannabis may be an effective substitute for opioids in terms of pain management. Do I need to keep saying? There's more. A report published recently in the journal BMJ Open, for instance, compared medical marijuana and opioids for chronic non-cancer pain and found that cannabis may be similarly effective and results in fewer discontinuations than opioids, potentially offering comparable relief with a lower likelihood of adverse effects like addiction. Separate research published found that 57% of patients with chronic musculoskeletal pain said cannabis was more effective than other analgesic medications, while 40% reported reducing their use of painkillers since they began using marijuana. So, my suggestion, next time the pain hits, pop a gummy instead of a pill.
Ooh, I like that. Pop a gummy instead of a pill. How about lighting some more of that Cronja?
Okay.
Before we go into political, state, and business news. Smoke break, everybody.
Smoke break.
So while Mrs. Weedman's lighting that up, though, I'll start. Political, state, and business news. Why America needs a national medical cannabis program now. This piece argues a little bit that all state-by-state patchwork is doing more harm than good. Patients get left behind, research stalls, and companies chase profits over prescriptions. An unified federal system would standardize dosing, regulate marketing claims, enable insurance coverage, and protect patients. It's medicine, not merch, and it's time Washington got the memo. Alabama's HB 445 tried to tame the Wild West hemp scene. Instead, it shuttered shops. Smokable hemp now is a Class C felony. Synthetics banned. And THC in edibles capped at 10 milligrams. Retailers face new licensing restrictions and fear outright shutdown. Its regulation run amok. Small businesses got squeezed. Customers cut off. Wild idea, huh, Mrs. Weedman?
Mm-hmm.
This is good weed. Got me high as fuck earlier. There you go. Angelo LaRoche opened Green Club in New York City. I'm proud of this human right here. But to keep it alive, he's juggling 3 jobs just so this dispensary can stay open. He's hustling hard, covering staffing, rent operations, and while balancing extra gigs. It's the real grind behind the green dream. Passion, sacrifice, and a whole lot of hustle. If you want to succeed, you got to do whatever it takes, right, Ms. Weedman?
That's right.
Wisconsin's GOP Assembly Speaker wants census on medical cannabis, but calls the Senate bill too broad. He favors a limited program, just a few state-run dispensaries for truly ill patients. No full rollout. Don't do like Iowa's done and Texas has done. Please, Wisconsin, you're better than that. He worries the Senate version ushers a de facto recreational legalization. His position? He'll likely veto no unless the bill is dramatically scaled back. Boo. Boo. Shame. What do your constituents want? Not what you want. Won't you ask some of them? GOP Assembly Speaker. Pennsylvania senators introduced Ryan's Law, letting terminally ill patients use non-smoking medical cannabis in hospitals. It sets storage rules, hospital protocols, and shields facilities from liability. Unless federal crackdowns kick in, it's a compassionate move so sick folks can stay alert, feel heard, and not just fade out in sedation. Trump's DOJ has slashed federal drug prosecutions to multi-decade low, down 10% from last year. Money laundering charges tumbled 24%. Drug conspiracies 15%. Agents from the DEA and ATF were diverted to immigration raids. Raid gear over investigation, one insider griped. The war on drugs looks like it's getting benched for border drama. Attorney General Pam Bondi pledged to review tribal cannabis sales, especially Cherokee land operations, after a GOP senator flagged cross-state apps. She also committed to probing a controversial app connecting buyers to legal dispensaries across state lines. Meanwhile, the admin quietly eyeing rescheduling marijuana at the federal level. Pot pressure politics, it's a wild ride. Leave the Native American folk alone. Leave the Cherokee land operations alone. You can't touch them. I don't even care, AG Pam Bondi and whoever the GOP senator is. Can't touch this. Leave the Native American folks alone. If Trump reschedules marijuana, say from Schedule 1 to tree, GOP senators call it a game changer. Senators Sullivan, Murawski, and Kramer say it'll shift party dynamics, open bank doors, and legitimize reform. They're excited but curious full legalization. Maybe later, right now, rescheduling could break barriers. Hemp industry leaders are begging Trump not to let Congress reverse the 2018 Farm Bill's legalization of hemp. They warn that banning hemp products with any THC would destroy 95% of the market, gut jobs, and shift business underground. They're pushing for smart regulation, not prohibition, and asking, don't let a rush bill kill the crop we made legal. Nope, your eyes weren't deceiving you. A New York dispensary went viral. Project Pigeon. Delivery claim turned into to be total PR stunt. I saw this a couple weeks ago in an article that had pigeons. They were saying this dispensary was going to have pigeons deliver your weed.
Oh my gosh.
Carrier pigeons.
I remember that. Could you imagine?
So so it was a PR stunt. And they teased 20 birds with mini backpacks flying weed across the city. Even fooled media outlets. But yeah, no pigeons ever got trained. It's all smoke and mirrors. Or Big Bird. Just flying your weed to you. Ohio Governor DeWine just slapped a 90-day ban on intoxicating hemp products. That means no THC drinks, edibles, or gummies sold outside dispensaries. Retailers must clear their shelves, which they did, which was today, October 14th, or face fines. He says it's about protecting kids, but hemp businesses are howling over being shut down. But I just read 4 hours ago, it is now 5 or 6 hours ago, because we started a little bit later than we normally do. But a judge temporarily blocked Governor DeWine from banning hemp products until October 28th, when the next hearing for this is. Good job, Judge. Mm-hmm. Good job. Proud of you. DC's council just unanimously approved a bill to extend conditional medical cannabis license by 12 more months, giving new operators more breathing room to find locations and finish build-outs. Many had trouble securing real estate and funding under the old deadline. It applies retroactively to June 28, 2025, so no one loses out mid-race. The Green Hustle just got a bit of a timeout. The VFW is going full green flag, Mrs. Weedman. They're partnering with a cannabis TH-infused drink company, and it's going to be at posts where it's legal. And profits will go back to veteran programs. No, they're not turning halls into dispensaries. Just adding a choice. It's big and bold and a salute to evolving times. Now passing the joint over to you, Mrs. Weedman.
Thank you, Mr. Weedman. More political, state, and business news. Beer, wine, and liquor sales are projected to drop sharply in 2026, and cannabis is a major reason why. A new Constellation Brands report predicts beer sales will fall by $185 million and spirits by $253 million. Fewer people are drinking, with alcohol use dropping from 67% in 2022 to 54% in 2025. Experts blame health concerns, changing social norms, and a growing preference for cannabis. Cannabis drinks are now top sellers at some dispensaries, offering a social alternative that's viewed as healthier and more sustainable. Most cannabis users aren't impressed with Trump's moves on weed so far. 58% actually disapprove. But here's a twist. 39% say they would support him more if he legalized or rescheduled cannabis. So, translation, the green crowd's giving him the side eye, but they'll dance if he plays the right tune. Will he?
Let's see.
Florida Senator Tina Polsky filed SB 136 and SB 130, aiming to shield medical cannabis patients at home and work. SB 136 forbids public employers from punishing registered users over THC tests unless impairment is shown. SB 130 blocks courts from denying custody or visitation just because one is a medical cannabis patient. That's great. Florida's medical cannabis market is sputtering. Patient growth is crawling upward by 4 to 5% annually, while dispensaries jump 7.5%. Units sold are rising, but revenue is flat thanks to cutthroat competition and market saturation. Big MSOs are tanking. Investors are sweating. Florida's green rush, it's more like a slow drip these days. Veterans groups and prisoner advocacy organizations hit Capitol Hill, pushing Congress to reform cannabis laws. Free those jailed for pot. Grant veterans safer medical access. They're backing bills like the Prepare and H.R. 2935 and the Evidence-Based Drug Policy Act to shift federal stance. They say unity's their strongest weapon. Left, right, veterans, everyone is in for justice. Marilyn Whitmer quietly sat down with her Democratic Senate holdouts and helped swing support for a 24% wholesale cannabis tax, a key revenue play to fix Michigan's roads. Did you hear that? An increase in sales tax, substantial in Michigan, so they could pave their roads. She pushed, negotiated, and landed the votes needed. Of course, it's an easy answer, even though many were hesitant about the impact. Wow. I think this is going to hurt Michigan cannabis.
Oh, huge. But there was a senator that came out and spoke openly and said, we didn't need the 24% tax on wholesale. We already had the money budgeted out that would have paid for these roads year over year.
It's just an easy way to
that
get more money.
$420 million they're saying they're going to be making off of cannabis now, the extra $420 million.
It's going to go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
That's politics.
I mean, I'm sure it'll fix some roads, but
yeah,
they're going to be fixing some other things too.
Yeah.
Like the lining of their pockets. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry, Ms. Weedman.
Or some future project.
Yeah, some future projects.
The Omaha Tribe of Nebraska legalized medical and recreational cannabis in July of 25, and now they're moving full steam ahead to open their first dispensary by early 2026. They've received over 70 applications for a 5-member regulatory commission. They plan a vertical license controlled by the tribe. Nebraska's Sovereign Green Ride has begun.
Take that, Governor.
Yeah.
Stick it in your culo.
Arkansas is redirecting medical marijuana tax revenue to fight childhood hunger, funding free breakfast, and tackling school lunch debt. So every time someone fills a cannabis prescription, it's also helping feed a kid. Now that's food justice.
I
think
can
that's
support
great.
that 100%.
Yep.
If my tax dollars that I bought for cannabis went to that,
That'd be
I'd
amazing.
be all smiles if
There's
states
so many
did
kids that don't have food.
Yes. No
Yeah.
one should go hungry
No.
in this world.
No.
No one. I
No.
said that I had a nice talk with somebody one time about that. No one in this world should go without food. There's enough food in this world for everybody. We produce so much and we waste so much. Nobody in this world should go without clean water, clean air, and food.
Yes. Trump's pick for drug czar, Sarah Carter Bailey, just danced around every marijuana question from senators. No firm stance on rescheduling, legalization, or racial disparities. She says, ooh, that was like a whistle. She says she'll examine all facts and evidence while staying within federal law. Classic Washington move. Talk, stall, avoid.
Were you Cindy Brady there for a second? Seashell, seashell.
Yeah. Sorry. San Francisco Sheriff Miyamoto's brother-in-law, Joel Perez de Leon, allegedly smoked weed and grew cannabis in a locker while working as a plumber at San Francisco's
Great name.
County Jail.
Great name.
Number 3.
Sexy.
Joel. He denied it. I'm probably not saying it right. He denied large cultivation, pled no contest. I think that's pretty great. He was a plumber at the jail and he was growing weed in his locker.
I love it.
I mean, hey, that's productive.
That's a legendary status right there.
Yeah, I think that is
That's
pretty
legendary
great.
status right there.
So he denied large cultivation because really, I mean, how much fits in a locker,
One
right?
plant.
He pled no contest to owning a few plants, and his burglary charges got dropped. The sheriff wasn't involved in the probe, and once informed, he fired him.
Oh, man.
Dang. On Maine's 5-year mark of legal adult use cannabis, regulators say the market's leveling off. Sales hit $244 million last year and are pacing similarly this year. Nearly 60% of sales come from York and Cumberland counties. What started explosively, though, is settling into maturity, and that's supply catching demand, folks.
Nice.
A Portland pot shop manager, Jason Steiner, was found not guilty on double murder charges for shooting someone within a robbery that poured into the La Moda dispensary last year. His defense is that it was pure self-defense, contending one of the robbers pulled a gun. The court agreed, case closed. Lucky dude. I mean, there's how many cameras in every dispensary.
Oh,
It'd
shit.
be really hard to argue.
Can't miss it.
You'd be able to tell if it was not self-defense, right?
There's so many cameras in there.
Yep. So that's it, Mr. Weedman. Back over to you.
Thanks. Mendocino County seeks a slice of California's new $15 million cannabis equity grants program, up to $75K to build local equity programs, and up to $3.5 million to help new weed businesses launch. They grabbed 5 past grants and plan to apply again. It's about lowering the barriers, lifting legacy growers, and shifting the illicit green game legit. A GOP Senator, Tom Tills, wants the states to be able to opt into cannabis legalization, but only with the federal excise tax and guardrails. He says he's not an anti-cannabis person, but wants rules. No fruity marketing, no cross-border apps, clean imports. Cool. The GOP nominee in Virginia's governor race and said she supports medical cannabis, but warned that if employees use THC on the job, they could blow everything up. Her Democratic opponent backs legalizing retail sales with oversight, debates the vibe, safety fears versus markets, and yeah, some serious fireworks broke out also. Ohio medical cannabis patients are less satisfied since recreational sales launched. Satisfaction dropped from 74% to 56%, while dissatisfaction rose to 30%. Meanwhile, Ohio's medical program shed 43% of its active patients from May 2024 to July 2025. Looks like when everyone can buy, the ones who need it feel it slipping. Don't let your medical program go to waste. Demand better medical programs. Demand weed for medical purposes. Oh, man, don't get me started. Michigan's medical market is not even doing $1 million a month anymore. Barely doing like $500,000 a month. Don't let your medical programs go away. Trust me, the government would love for them to go away. They get more tax on rec. They don't care about med. Target just started slipping hemp-derived THC drinks onto their shelves in Minnesota's liquor store, Targets. It's the first move into cannabis retail among over 2,000 stores nationwide. They say it's a pilot to gauge consumer interest. Big shift, small cans. This could tip mainstream green. Big move for Target, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vermont's lining up cannabis workshops December 5th through the 6th. VTSU Johnson open to licensed applicants and the public. Topics: business planning, compliance, cultivation, challenges, weed genetics, the whole enchilada. Cost is $250. Social equity is $50. Spots limited to 12 to 15 people per class. Green dreams need school. Hall of Flowers, New York City, lit up the East Coast cannabis scene. Brands like Terra Toke's Fire Department, Royal Leaf, and Kyla, Oleo, Electric Leaf, and Sherbinsky's flex killer strains, concentrates, and branding. We saw Witchy Vibes, Kosher Edibles collabs. Even the smell was flexing. New York's green game just got next level. OSHA's shutdown is hitting more than just paperwork. It's affecting alcohol, cannabis, and workplace safety. With inspections, outreach, and compliance checks suspended, risky conditions in dispensaries, breweries, and kitchens could linger. Cultivation, extraction, and retail operations face hazards, flammable solvents, dust, mold, and without oversight, who's watching the shop? Bureaucratic pause and green industry equals recipe for trouble, Mrs. Weedman. For trouble. It is October.
It is.
What is going on right now? What did we just do, Mrs. Weedman?
It is Croptober,
Yes.
harvest season.
The fall harvest that shapes the global cannabis industry.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yep. The plowman is broad as the back of the land he's sowing as he dances the circular track of the plowover, knowing that the work of his day measures more than the planting and growing. Let it grow, greatly yield, sang the Grateful Dead. Every autumn, as the leaves turn and the air chills, cannabis cultivators brace for one of the most defining moments in the calendar, Croptober. It's when months of labor under the sun, in soil, or in controlled environments yield their bounty. And for many in the cannabis industry, those few weeks determine profitability, survival, and what the next season will look like. Croptober refers to the peak harvest season for outdoor cannabis in many parts of the Northern Hemisphere. During this period, growers harvest, flower, trim buds, dry, cure, and process for extraction or packaging. For indoor and greenhouse operations, similar cycles happen year-round. Still, Croptober remains a symbolic and financial focal point, especially in established outdoor cultivation regions in the U.S., Canada, Northern Europe, and increasingly Latin America. Walk through a Northern California field in late October and you can feel it. The hum of trimming machines, the nervous laughter, the smell of diesel generators and coffee. It's part harvest, part high-stakes ritual. The culture of Croptober feels as much like a harvest festival as it does a fiscal reckoning. Farmers celebrating the plant's promise while eyeing next year's survival. Croptober is our new year in the Northern Hemisphere. It's when our passion for the sacred plant fills the air, resin glistens in the sun, and a year of dedication finally speaks for itself, says James Loud, founder of Loud Genetics. The global cannabis cultivation market is estimated at approximately $179.32 billion in 2024 and is forecast to rise to $397.14 billion by 2029, according to Precedence Research, reflecting a compound annual growth rate of nearly 18%. Legal, recreational, and medical cannabis sales continue to expand as well. In the United States, adult use and medical cannabis sales have surpassed $30 billion, with projections indicating continued growth in the years ahead. Yet beyond the spreadsheets and quarterly forecasts lie a deeper current. Croptober is becoming a shared vocabulary, a signal of maturity in global cannabis markets. From the mountains of Morocco to the greenhouses of Colombia and Lesotho, Growers are synchronizing harvest cycles and compliance standards, quietly knitting a global cannabis calendar. The next decade may look less like a patchwork of national industries and more like an interconnected agricultural economy, one rooted in soil but traded like tech. For new entrants, primarily from the global south, everything will come down to their ability to meet EU GMP standards. Meeting that standard will provide crucial access to the still nascent global market and allow those producers to leverage lower labor and production costs into potentially dominant global positions as markets mature and scores of less efficient producers around the globe with higher capex become unable to compete, said Ben Gelt, advisor at Greenspoon Martyr LLP. One of the most striking metrics of Croptober is how much value a single acre can generate. According to the October 2025 wholesale indices from Cannabis benchmarks, bulk cannabis flower in the U.S. is averaging around $1,200 per pound. That's the approximate indoor number. Outdoor averages from $300 to $500. In New York, outdoor trim flower is collecting around $450 a pound. Under ideal outdoor growing conditions and assuming strong yield and premium quality, a single acre might still conceivably generate mid-seven-figure revenues before expenses. But real-world outcomes vary wildly depending on location, licensing costs, quality, and regulatory burden. Indoor greenhouse operations tend to have significantly higher costs, but often yield higher density. The cost of production for outdoor cannabis vary, but some estimates place startup operating costs at $10 to $15 per square foot, or approximately $435,000 to $650,000 per acre for outdoor operations. Those estimates account for key expenses including labor, inputs, infrastructure, and other essential operating costs. Jimmy Brinkerhoff, founder of Eden, a single-state regenerative cannabis farm in Colorado, noted the importance of the moment. Croptober means harvest time, when our sun-grown regenerative cannabis reaches its peak. Of course, with our four-season hybrid facility, we celebrate Croptober 4 or 5 times per year. Harvest, though, is still the culmination of an immense amount of work, and we often celebrate our harvests with employees and all those involved, Brinkerhoff said. We hand harvest each plant at full maturity, freeze it fresh at the farm, and turn it into the purest live rosin concentrates and edibles in Colorado. No shortcuts, no solvents, just sun, soil, and terpenes, captured in every dab, cart, and gummy. Hemp provides a valuable point of comparison. In 2023, for example, in the U.S. floral hemp grown outdoors, it averaged approximately 1,088 pounds per acre, with a total associated value of $241 million for the open-grown floral hemp sector. Numbers tell only half the story, though. Croptober is both data and devotion, a test of logistics, luck, and law. For those who've lived through enough harvests, it's also a reminder that nature doesn't care about regulation or market cycles. She runs her own calendar, indifferent to compliance deadlines. The weight and quantity of what comes in during Croptober often underwrites operations for the following year. If yields or market price fall short, many producers are squeezed. Conversely, a bumper crop can be both a blessing and a curse. While higher volume increases revenue potential, oversupply, especially when storage, drying, and quality controls lag, can lead to sharp price drops. This dynamic has been reported in multiple regions during recent harvests. Operationally, harvesting at scale demands precise timing, skilled labor, and efficient drying and curing infrastructure. An early freeze or delays in post-harvest processing can sharply reduce product quality and market value. So without proper protocols in place, there can be troubles. Meanwhile, the global cultivation map continues to evolve. Emerging production zones now join traditional strongholds in the U.S., Canada, and Western Europe. For these new entrants, Croptober isn't just about output. It's about establishing credibility, genetics, and supply chain reliability. Croptober is not as widely known as as a concept in the European cannabis industry and doesn't seem to be as monumental a celebration, which in part reflects differences in legal status, regulatory oversight, and supply chains. When we think of cannabis cultivation in Europe or for European markets, it largely encompasses cannabis for medical purposes, which must comply with strict EU GACP and EU GMP standards, said Dr. Jessica Steinberg, managing director at Global C. That said, there is outdoor cultivation for industrial hemp in Europe. France, surprising to some, is the largest producer in Europe, accounting for more than 60% of total EU production. In Europe, the hum of Croptober is quieter, more clinical. But listen closely, and you'll still hear it, the same heartbeat of cultivation. Whether under alpine snow or California sun, the cannabis growing ritual remains plant, tend, harvest, and reflect. Only the language changes. U.S. hemp data from 2023 shows approximately 8.03 million pounds of floral hemp harvested from roughly 7,383 acres, averaging at about 1,088 pounds per acre. Value per acre tends to peak where legalization and well-regulated adult use frameworks allow higher price points, production costs are controlled, and post-harvest infrastructure such as drying, curing, extraction, and product development is readily accessible. Genetics and strain quality also play a significant role in commanding premium pricing. Sergio Martinez, founder and CEO of Blimburn Seeds, underscored the importance of starting with strong genetics. Seeds mean everything for the harvest, he said. No matter how skilled the grower or how refined the drying and curing process, the results will only ever be as good as the genetics behind them. Good seeds have the potential to deliver the best harvest if the grower does their part. In regions including parts of Colorado, California, and certain Canadian provinces, yields combined with high market wholesale prices result in per-acre returns reaching into the high hundreds of thousands to over $1 million for premium outdoor flower in ideal conditions. That said, risk is also higher, with regulatory risks, climate change, pests, and market fluctuations all playing significant roles. As the drying rooms hum and spreadsheets settle, Croptober shifts from celebration to calculation. The question that hangs over every cultivator, what does next year look like, has no single answer. The industry is writing its future in real time. Globalized genetics, data-driven farming, and markets that no longer sleep. The plant may be ancient, but its path forward is algorithmic. Following the harvest, inventory and pricing trends often shift. A large Croptober harvest can cause supply to outpace demand, leading to short-term dips in wholesale prices, unless export or consumer demand surges. The decline is generally less severe for premium cultivars, while commodity-grade flower may experience sharper price corrections. With scale also comes scrutiny. Regulators and environmental observers often focus on resource use, such as energy, water, and pesticides during harvest periods, particularly among outdoor and greenhouse operations. And at the same time, Croptober pushes innovation forward, with drying and curing systems, genetic research, and post-harvest technology, all evolving rapidly as growers seek greater efficiency and consistency. Personally, it is a spiritual time of year. Croptober signifies the culmination of all our hard work, the completion of our efforts, and the start of planning for the upcoming year. It's a time to celebrate the harvest, take a deep breath, and reflect on both our successes and our challenges, said Jane Sandelman, CEO of VT Dry and Cure Tech, makers of Canatrol, a post-harvest technology company that designs and manufactures data-driven environmental control systems that help cultivators produce more consistent, flavorful, and compliant flower while minimizing post-harvest losses. That's a mouthful. Mm-hmm. Croptober that's technology for you. Croptober isn't merely a season, it's a mirror. It shows the industry what it really is. Part farmer's prayer, part policy experiment, part rebellion made legitimate. From Colorado to Copenhagen, this fall harvest carries whispers of where cannabis goes next, into the laboratories, into the global trade corridors, into the mainstream of agriculture and wellness. Sometimes the lights all shining on me.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me.
There you go.
What a long, strange trip it's been. Okay.
Pretty good,
anyway,
man.
that's actually the Dead song.
Yeah.
I did okay there.
Pretty good.
And that line feels appropriate for this moment. The cannabis industry stands in both sunlight and shadow, celebrating abundance while navigating uncertainty. But as long as Croptober returns, there's proof that the plant and the people devoted to it will keep growing forward.
Love it. International news. Green Party leader Zach Polanski just dropped a bomb. He backs legalizing all drugs, not just weed. Yes, even Class A stuff like heroin and crack. You want some of that crack, Mr. Weedman?
No.
He argues the war on drugs is busted mess and wants public health first approach, not blanket bans. Radical? Maybe. Necessary? Let's see. Spain just got green medical cannabis, but yes, it comes with some guardrails. Only specialist doctors and hospitals can prescribe standardized cannabis oils for severe cases. No general pharmacies, no buds. Conditions covered include refractory pain, serious epilepsy, MS spasticity. When all else fails, it's a long-fought win, but strict and cautious. Germany's cannabis legalization is staying put for now under current adult rules. Adults can carry 25 grams in public, 50 grams at home, grow up to 3 plants, and buy through nonprofit clubs. No big commercial stores yet. The new government is waiting until fall to potentially expand or tweak the system. No rollback yet. Woohoo! Guam's medical cannabis registration is down. Fewer patients renewing or signing up. Even though adult use weed is technically legal, people are skipping the medical card grind. The shift means less oversight, fewer tax breaks, and a weaker medical system. Translation: green's legal, but medical path's losing its grip. Kai Kalker just said nope. 79% voted against legalizing cannabis on the island in a historic referendum. Worth noting, 857 ballots cast, 678 no, versus only 176 yes. Supporters pitched it as an economic opportunity, regulation revenue, but islanders rejected that, anchoring tradition, unity, and caution over high-rolling dreams. Check this out. How cannabis moves around the world inside the global supply chain breaks down the beast behind cross-border weed. It all rides on regulatory compliance. You got to know which countries allow flower, oils, or genetics. Medical cannabis gets treated like a pharmaceutical, requiring GDP, cold chain audits, batch tracking. Logistics get wild. Clones within 3 to 4 days lifespans, but temps between 59 and 77 degrees. Strict handling. One slip and customs kills your shipment. Bottom line, global weed isn't just planting, it's precision, law, and chemistry. About 15.4% of young Europeans aged 15 to 34 used cannabis in the past year. Italy's on top of the leaderboard with 21.5%. Those Mediterraneans, Mrs. Weedman, those Mediterraneans. Followed by Croatia, the Slavics, 20.3%. The Slavics. And Spain, 19.4%. They're lighting up more often. On the other end, Portugal's only 4.9%, Greece is 4.5%, Hungary's 3.4%. Report the lowest use. Young men are about twice as likely to say they smoke compared to women. Herbal cannabis and resin are still king. Even with all the new stuff out there, market value is a hefty $12.1 billion across the EU. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Someone in Hollywood died.
Mm-hmm.
Another one. Robert Redford a few weeks ago.
Let me light this joint while you talk.
This is Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Right. Hollywood's most stylish stoner. But you want to know what, everybody?
What?
She never smoked.
I know. That's why I thought it would be appropriate to light up. Because she smoked as an actress, that, like in her roles.
Yes.
There was often, she was a pothead, but not in real life.
Nope.
All right, Mr. Weedman. Here we go.
Thanks. Tell us about it, Mr. Weedman.
Among cinema's best stoner archetypes, past or present, Diane Keaton brought to life. Hang on a minute. She brought to life some of the most memorable, film moments where cannabis appeared naturally without drama or moralizing. A calm, witty, and impossibly chic on-camera weed enthusiast she was. Keaton left this world on October 11th, leaving behind a filmography that, through laughter and vulnerability, reshaped how Hollywood portrayed relaxation, desire, and female intelligence. Wow. Californian actress, fashion icon, adoptive mother, and Oscar winner, and more recently, a late blooming singer who finally fulfilled an almost forgotten dream. Keaton's characters offered both stoners and non-stoners alike dialogue and scenes that were at the very least beautiful, while voiding the burned-out cliche of the dazed pothead who can't string two thoughts together. In Shoot the Moon in 1982, her character smokes a joint in the bathtub, an intimate, melancholic gesture, more than a rebellious one, where weed becomes an emotional refuge in the middle of a crumbling marriage. Decades later, in The Family Stone, in 2005, Keaton plays a matriarch with cancer who faces her illness surrounded by humor and family warmth. In one of the film's most relaxed scenes, the family shares some suspiciously festive brownies, hinting at the use of weed without spelling it out. Annie Hall, the first stoner girl, the scene where Annie Hall, the iconic 70s character in a Woody Allen film, asks if he's ever made love while high. She cracked open one of the most countercultural doors of its time and became one of cinema's most cited portrayals of casual cannabis use in the mainstream. Annie embraces weed as a source of relief, an intimate form of connection, something that relaxes rather than hinders it. In her voice, light and honest, marijuana isn't marginal. It's part of her emotional landscape. She challenges the rules of desire, control, and male anxiety. She suggests that pleasure, too, can be a female space, one that doesn't need to be overanalyzed. Throughout the film, Annie tries to calm down with the ever-neurotic Alan, but she doesn't succeed. Anyhow, she manages to captivate an audience that loves her charismatic, sophisticated, and at the same time very intelligent and perceptive character. In her hands, weed isn't scary at all. Quite the opposite, it helps define who she is, a witty, warm, slightly quirky young woman who smokes weed. But did Diane Keaton actually smoke weed? Well, sorry to disappoint, she did not. As much as we'd love to believe she was like her characters, reality doesn't quite match fiction. It's not true, but there are elements of truth in it, she once said when asked how much of Annie Hall was really her. She told the New York Times, "I have smoked weed in the past when I was in hair, but it makes me a little nervous, and I feel nervous enough without it. I like a glass of wine. It makes me more relaxed." When asked about her role in Mac and Rita in 2022, where her character takes magic mushrooms, she gave a similar answer. "Oh, no thank you. That was never something that I engaged in at all. I missed out on that. I would just prefer to have a glass of wine with ice in it." Diane Keaton will be remembered as many things: a brilliant actress, a free woman, a style icon, but above all, as someone who could blend humor, fragility, and elegance into one. She made lighting up look like art.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, rest in love, and rest in power, Diane Keaton.
Yeah,
you were fantastic.
She was a good actress.
Yes, very good. She was in a lot of good movies. She looked great, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she looked great. Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
Yep.
Got anything else to say?
Everybody have a great week. Send us pictures of your crop if you're doing some chopping and drying and curing.
You can go on Instagram for 8 decades, or you can reach out to me on my Discord.
Yeah.
What is it? WM420.
Yeah, we got a decent harvest for outdoor grow. We had some bumps
the plant
in the
was
road
gorgeous.
early. It was beautiful.
We probably could have.
We just didn't maybe give it enough nutrients, so we didn't get like big bulky buds.
They were beautiful.
They're nice.
Full of heads, trichomes, lovely aromatics.
Yeah.
We just didn't. I took my tent down because we're supposed to be moving soon, and I didn't have a place to dry it, so we dried it in the back of the basement. The humidity wasn't right, and we had to take it down a little bit quicker. It's in the Grove bags. It still smells good. Smoked good because I decarbed it in the oven for a minute just to try it. And but we'll see how the Grove bags and how the cure goes. I'm probably gonna let it cure for a month, not just the 2 weeks that Grove bags say. I'm gonna let it cure for like a month.
Yeah,
maybe it'll bring it back a little bit because the drying, we fucked up the drying, but I didn't have a place to dry it.
Right.
And the plant was so pretty and purpley and beautiful, and the trichome heads were. But when we were
That's okay.
when we were trimming it,
I think it's still going to be
when
good.
we were
it
trimming
was
it,
sticky.
holy
Yeah.
shit, we
Yeah.
had so much resin.
Yeah, and then all
on our
all
gloves.
the keef. Oh my god,
and all the keef.
It
Oh
was
my god, we
beautiful.
took a
We
bunch of
saved
that.
it.
We took
Yeah.
a bunch of it though and put it on a joint that night, and we were
Whee!
ripped. It was amazing high. Oh, the sleep I had that night was wonderful. We saved a lot of that, and
That was good.
We're gonna have some good edibles too, because like 4 or 5 of the jars are for edibles, and I put a lot of that keef in there too.
Oh my god, so many little sugar leaves. Saved all of those babies.
So good. So I love y'all out there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puff and away.
Puff puff pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.